Okay.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome on time to this round of the pit stop. It's a little bit different tonight. We are reviewing both the GT3 round 8 at Hockenheim, and we're also reviewing the brand new round 1 Clio Cup at Brands Hatch. I mean, it's been a really entertaining week out on Performance Link channel with our brand new series of the Clio Cup on the Thursday night, and then obviously our staple GT3 mini endurance series on a Sunday night. I am Andy Thompson. I'm always joined by my usually reliable commentator Tom Bingham here tonight. But Tom, you know, great start to the season for the Clio Cups. 3 20-minute rounds around Brands Hatch. It was an entertaining, in what is a very entertaining car to drive. And then we had on Sunday the restart again after seems what an eternity of the round 8 of the GT3 round Hockenheim, which was interesting as well, not for incidents but for, you know, people moving up the leaderboard and basically getting around. So overall a great addition to the Performance Link family, the brand new Hot Hatch series.
Yeah, I agree. Filthy Animal has just said the music is still playing really loud over you.
Not anymore. Not anymore.
Not anymore. There we go. Okay, so Andy was just mentioning that obviously we've now had the Drivers' Match, the GT3 Cup, and we now have obviously the Clio Cup, which has started. So we're just going to talk a little bit about that. And yeah, so Clio's insane. You know, the setup we have. Thanks to the Olympus Esports guys for that one. So the setup itself that we have is incredibly spicy. Not overly easy to drive. You know, the Clios have got no ABS. They're certainly a big handful at times, definitely. So the drivers have had some interesting incidents, and we have seen some of the top challengers from the GT3 series being challenged in the Clios, which is also quite nice to see. So, but yeah, with the return of the GT3 season and that getting fired back up, you know, the last round was insane. I mean, the leaderboard now is just open wide up for a number of drivers, definitely to sort of reach for those higher podium positions.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, if we take the GT3, we got at the top of the leaderboard, Neil Eric Isaacson, you know, really stole that round, was on fire at Hockenheim, and with having the 0x as well, has managed to get them 2 extra points for 0 incidents, which there was only a 3-point gap between himself and Thomas Wangen at the top of the leaderboard standings, and now it's neck and neck. So the 2 IGL coating guys at the top of the pro, and then looking back at the Pro-Am, Mats Genström, he was on fire and then had a monitor malfunction which really put end to his race, and who comes through to profit but Lee King McGee again taking another win in the GT3. You've got to have luck in these games, and he certainly has. James Logsdon, we saw him at the start of the race have a spin and then basically fights his way back to 6th place. I think his pit stop strategy may have been a little bit off. I think he changed all 4 tyres where a lot of other drivers only changed 2, so that was the difference between him getting a podium position and finishing down 5th or 6th in a bit. But it was a good recovery drive from himself. We had Alan Sandergaard winning in the rookies, having an excellent race. You know, he literally smashed the field apart. He was up with the Pro-Ams fighting out, so a great round for him. I had feelings he was going to start coming back, but really good race for him overall. So, you know, we've got another 3 rounds left to go. We got an endurance round, 3 or 4 rounds left to go. We've got an endurance round next time out at the Nürburgring GP circuits, which the guys are busy frantically playing around. So that's the GT3, and then the Clio Cup. We had Thomas Wangen stealing the show again in the Clio Cup, winning all 3 races out in the Pro, but didn't really have it all his own way in them races like he did in the GT3. We had David Sedgley, who was on his toes as well, and a few of the other new drivers to the series in the Clio Cup really coming to the front as well. So it was a great race. and a really good, nice warm-up for the GT3, which we'll have. So they'll always be following on the Thursday before the GT3 race on a Sunday. But, I mean, overall, a cracking two race events that we had last week, and I'm really looking forward to this week where we go to Donington Park in the Clio Cups tomorrow night, one of your favourite tracks, and then obviously the Nürburgring 2-hour special on Sunday.
Yeah, really looking forward to Donny. I've driven around there a few times recently, obviously in real life, and just seeing the Clios now go around there, I'm really going to be understanding sort of like the forces and the G's and stuff that are being undertaken by those cars, and looking at the setup that we have, you know, coming down the hill into that left-hander and then that tight right-hander at the bottom. It's going to be an absolute handful trying to get those cars stopped, especially if people are going to be battling. So, you know, with the fact that the Clios aren't very big either, we could be seeing 3-4 wide. You know, Donny is a wide track, isn't it, in quite a few places. So, you know, battling into that last chicane and also battling down the hill, it's going to be mental.
It is going to be 20 minutes of what I thought was going to be carnage at Brands Hatch, but it wasn't. The drivers were very respectful of each other on that race, and there was some really great battling out. There was the odd incident, which we'll be reviewing very shortly. But, you know, overall in a 60-minute with 3 20-minute sprint races, I thought the racing was excellent and very much commendable for the drivers to be out there. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that. But anyway, let's get back to the point on hand. Let's have a look firstly at the Clio Cup penalties. We'll do a review on them. So what we do for newcomers to the channel, we obviously have our race. The drivers can put in protests against other drivers. And rather doing it all behind closed doors, we actually do them live here tonight on the podcast so everybody can see how we're doing. Not only to show the drivers why we've given the penalty to make it as open as possible, but also for educational purposes for the rest of the drivers as well. So but I'm sure there's incidents in there that a lot of the drivers will find themselves in. But without further ado, let's go over to that one. Let's see if it works. There we go. As if by magic, we have the race. We will have to switch between races because I'll have to load up the mammoth file that is the GT3. But we can get straight into it. So the first ever protest of the Clio Cup. I think is a little bit of a mistake here. So what we do is we ask the drivers to say their lap and, you know, give us where on track it is so we can find it, because obviously we have a lot to look at. So it's Paul Joseph Clist. He says race number 2, lap number 12, heading into turn 1. So this is just about to go over to lap 2, lap number 12, but unfortunately there is no incident. So this is lap number 12. This is the consolidation heat number 2. And there's no incident there. I think I remember the incident he's on about, but I'm not sure where that is.
Yeah, I think so as well. Coming into the hill itself, right?
Yeah, basically, I think it was a bit of door banging between himself and East Frederick coming into it, but unfortunately, this is lap number 12. So we always use, as we've told the drivers, we always use the iRacing lap, so then we can find it. So this is lap number 12, consolidation 2. Not sure if it was the second one or the third one. As it's the wrong lap, it sort of null and voids the penalty. But if we have time at the end, we might try and find it, because if I remember it was probably quite a good one to show actually. So no further action.
Could you please populate your share?
Yeah.
When you have a sec.
Is it not sharing for you?
No, it dropped off. Not sure
dropped off. Right, okay.
Story of my life. It always drops off. But yeah, no, I'm really looking forward to the Clios. I wish I was driving in it. So much fun, those little cars. You know, it's interesting to see what sort of top speed they're going to get up to as well. Considering with Donny, there are some. Cheers, mate. Thank you. There are some quite long straights, so it should be good to see what the guys can get up to.
Yeah, there is. So unfortunately, that is a no further action because it's the wrong lap that was put in, but we'll try and find it at the end if we have a chance. So, next one is Craig Salter, one of the new drivers against Stuart Winness of Track Scotland. So let's have a look at that one. So that was race number 3.
So nice to have the Track Scotland guys back on the grid.
Certainly is.
So right. Apart from Matthew's spamming account that got hacked, so sorry for anybody watching that's in the Discord. We did try and I did try and get rid of it as soon as possible, but unfortunately it took a little while to delete all the messages off. So
quite a few.
I set it to remove it for I think 24 hours. I clicked it and then messages were still coming through like 10 minutes later. So then all of a sudden it did wipe everything off. So at least that's sorted now.
Yeah, it definitely is. So this is Graham Hill bend, dive from the back, hitting the curb, spinning me out. So let's have a look. Very conservative around this first bend. I thought I was expecting some big carnage around here, but it didn't actually come. But
yeah, I thought I thought it was going to be mayhem. But yeah, everyone kept it quite clean.
Okay, here we go. I think there's where he's saying. Let's see what happens.
Fantastic recovery.
It is very good.
It's one of those like turn into it and pin it type saves. Ooh. Yeah, a bit of a sting there.
First lap as well. Tyres tried to get up the inside.
Yeah.
Yeah. What were we saying with that then? Definitely.
It's a penalty for sure.
Yeah.
Sent it down the inside. The room wasn't really there. Hesitated, got offline, hit the curb, hit the other car, pushed the other car off, lost 1, 2, 3 positions. So yeah, definitely a penalty for that one.
Okay, just need to decide what level it is. See, normally if it's a rear end where you go bang into the rear end, I think the mitigating for me is there's a slight little inkling for a room on the inside. So if we play it and slow it down, so when we're coming down here, Craig's on the outside, obviously Stuart is looking on the inside, does get his car up alongside but not enough. Coming in, there is a little bit of room, goes onto the curb, hits off the curb and then hits the side of the car. So I think a level 1 on that one. Or are you in a different view?
Yeah, no, I'll agree with that. Just yeah, I mean the sheer fact that the fact that Craig Salter manages to recover it and it doesn't ruin his race per se, he loses positions, so that does warrant a penalty.
Yeah.
But it's not like he trashed his car or anything. It was just a bit of a silly error on cold tires and everything, and it shouldn't have really happened, and that's warranting a level 1 in my opinion.
Yep. Okay. So that is a level 1. Okay, next one. Craig again against Kim Andre Buckland, race 3, lap 3, Druids. Okay. So there's, I think that's Kim there in front. Or is it behind? It must be behind. So it's coming up here. Oh wow, yeah.
I mean, there's ascend and then there's ascend, and that was ascend. You know, what is that, like 6 car lengths back or something ridiculous?
Yeah. So I think
never going to make that one.
So I think that's a level 2.
Can we? He has good closing speed. Can we watch it on board from his car?
Who, from?
As they're coming down. Yes, from the car behind, yeah, as he's coming down the hill from Kim.
Yeah.
Because he does have really good closing speed by the looks of it, but is it enough to warrant that much of a move? Good closing speed, decent.
No, I don't. It's not closing speed. It's just braking late, and he just went out wide. So, you know,
it's
unfortunately, level 2. So people may be saying, well, why is the other one not a level 2 where that one's a level 2? Well, the difference is that there was an opportunity there for Stewart, in my eyes, to pass it. It was a slight tap. That, on the other hand, was a clear send into the corner. There was contact made. If he completely took him out, then that would have been a level 3. But the mitigating is that he tried to stop it, but there was minimal contact with Craig coming in there, because I think Craig obviously saw that, and Craig was able to carry on there. But if it's marginal, because if Craig had turned in there, it would have been like a T-bone effect, and that would have 100% been a sort of level 3 penalty.
Yeah, Kim's locked up on the ABS for a little bit there as well, isn't he? Like, just trying to get it stopped.
And then we got Kim again, same as lap 3. So Kim, let's have a look. Lap 7. So Kim must be behind again then. Yeah, there you go. See, that's see, I'd probably tend to err for a racing incident on that, because
you literally read my mind. It's such a small factor, and he doesn't lose any positions.
There's a room on the inside, so Kim's managed to slow the car. So he is, if you look there, getting alongside him. Craig comes along, obviously not realising, goes into the front end of Kim. Kim actually helps him out here by pushing him around back onto track. On that,
I mean,
if Craig
one position.
Yeah, I think if Craig gave a little bit of space for the racing, obviously not cutting, then I think they both would have got through, and obviously fighting down into Graham Hill Bend. So I think that one for me is a racing incident.
Yeah, I agree. Can we see it one more time at full speed, please, mate?
Yeah, you certainly can. He gets a really good run out of here, actually, doesn't he?
God, I love these Clios. You see that? He's just floating it down the hill there. Yeah, space. Yeah, there was a gap.
There was a gap there for him to look at, so that's why.
It's a racing incident in my opinion as well.
Yeah. Okay. Next one, Paul Joseph kissed on Yves Frederick, race 3, lap 1. BBC, while you're there. Lap 1. And where's this? Heading into turn 3, so Druids. Let's watch the start. How super clean they were.
It's crazy to see this many cars on such a tight track and it be that clean.
I know.
Just crazy. Yeah, fair play to the drivers there.
So
really,
free
really well done.
isn't it? Yeah. Oh, was this the carnage that ensued on lap 3 down this hill? I think it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay, pick the bones out of that bad boy.
Who's the penalty against?
I think it's Yves for coming into the back of Paul.
Right.
So it's Yves. Let's have a look. I think all cars. To be fair, I think they were
right on board with Yves. I just want to see what kind of room he actually can he see the instant ahead? Do you know what I mean? Yeah, he can. He should be slowing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And is it that direct contact that spins Paul?
Yes, I think it is.
Or is it?
Let's have a look.
Yeah, I didn't know if it was contact from another.
Here is engine note as well. There's no holding out. It's just basically full throttle, isn't it?
Yeah. He went for the Days of Thunder move, saw the smoke and thought, send it.
I know somebody else who did that as well at TCR around. In fact, it was this track as well, wasn't it, mate?
I have no idea what you mean. But that worked out in my favour, didn't it? Because you killed all the other people in front.
No, I got killed, mate.
Wow, okay, you got killed. You got killed.
Right.
But you getting killed, in turn, pushed everyone else out the way, and I just drove straight through the middle.
Yeah, that's what pushes me off. So,
yeah.
I mean, I think a level 2, because we should be slowing down. You can see the incident there, and it's a rear end, whereas Paul slowed down for the incident, and Eves went into the back.
Can you, Sammy Dalek? Okay, 5 race ban. Let's go. Can you do close chase, please, on this car?
Yeah, let me see if I can sort out the sound for everyone. It should be playing. Oh, there we go. Let's try that then. Now you should be able to hear the sound, guys. Sorry. You want what? What do you want?
Close chase.
That'll be the one that I've got on my case. Close chase. What? Chase? That one?
Oh, just straight chase. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Perfect. Yeah, it didn't even touch the brakes until he's basically hitting.
Yeah.
So yeah, level 2 in my opinion as well.
Okay. Right, okay. Level 2.
So for anybody that doesn't know, anybody new to the Performance Link races or the channel or anything like that, so we have a list of rules set out which shows you the penalties, and it shows you exactly what the different levels are and why you receive what you do receive, and that's part of the reason why we do this live as well, so everybody can understand why these penalties are being given out the way they are. You are able to appeal against these penalties that we give out. If you do appeal, it gets sent off to a completely independent panel of real-life drivers, and we don't have any say over what their decision is. So we have had some penalties in the past be overturned, but not very many, in all honesty. So the appeal process is there if you want to use it. You just got to direct message myself or Andy, and we'll get the clip submitted across to those guys.
You gotta have a reason why you think the penalty is not what you and you can't just say I appeal that and not say anything. You have to put in the reasons why you think we were.
Yeah,
we did get it wrong.
You got to justify it.
We're not stewards, we try to be open. Basically, the criteria is there, so there's a benchmark for us to go with, but we take every single penalty as an individual penalty and look at it based on the merits of what we're seeing on the screen. We look at all the angles, try to see what happened. If it's a little bit in doubt, we'll look a little bit more, and obviously you guys get to see all that as well. So the next one is Thomas Wangen on Tom Hedridge, second to last turn. Second to last turn, I went off track turn before and have a little bit below speed. He sent it on the inside and hit me off the track. I got a 4x and a slowdown. So let's forward it. Luckily it's not a large lap, I suppose. Being the Indy circuit. Oh bloody hell! What? That is missed that one.
What happened there?
This is very unusual. This is a golden moment here for Mr. Wangen. I think he went too far off the track, didn't he? Just kicked out.
Just span up on the grass there. Yeah, that's not really allowed, is it? Yeah, but he does give the position back.
Well, I think the problem is the speed difference as well. I mean, if you go on board with Tom, I think that's what you got to mitigate it against, is that the speed difference here. I mean, what's it, 140 to 98? So let's rewind it back from our point of view.
Tom Savage, it's the Indy layout, not Rallycross.
It's an unusual one. I'm going to watch this a few times. It's not usual we see Mr. Wangen going off track. Great save, though.
That's a tough one, isn't it? Because in Tom Heritage's defense, it does look like there's a gap there, but there actually isn't. Do you know what I mean? It looks like there's a gap, but the corner tightens really quick there.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you can't be sending it like that. It just...
It's a hard one because
like,
of the incident, because of the speed difference. If it was on a normal lap, then yeah, I completely would agree with you there. I think the problem for me is the speed difference here, closing the speed. And it's a hard one because you would say, well, the car behind us completely...
Does his car completely leave the track?
Who's... Oh,
Tom Heritage.
Tom's. There's an opportunity there. There's space, and I think the closing speed. There's commitment there, isn't it?
Oh my god, his right wheel is literally on the edge of the rumble strip there.
It's a hard one because the speed difference. Because if we go here, there's an opportunity up the inside here. There's massive speed difference. You can see how quickly he's going. Then he does try to avoid the car by going more onto the grass, and then Thomas is he got hit in the front, which moved him out. That's a hard one. I think 100%. If there was no incident before this, 100%. This is a dive, but that corner is flat out in these Clios.
Go on right rear suspension. Okay, now slow-mo it. That's it, yeah.
Slivers. But I think the problem is that there's an opportunity, and I think that in Tom's defence is that there is room. So if you slow it, you can see there Thomas is going out. Tom's coming up the inside here.
I think it's a racing incident, personally.
I do. I think Thomas Wagon's coming across. Tom's realised that, but that he can't commit to anywhere else because of the speed difference between the two. And basically tries what he can to get off. Because if you look here, closes speed real light. He's coming right across, closes the door almost for Tom to try and make that move and get again. Oh, does he lose it? Oh, he lost it there anyway. Gave 3 positions back.
It's a racing incident.
I think so, yeah.
In my opinion, his car doesn't really leave the rumble strip, you know, by the tiniest margin. There's mitigating circumstances because Thomas Wagon's gone off. His closing speed's really high. The gap does look like it's there, but it's not really.
Yeah.
But I don't think there's anything malicious in that. It's just a case of he saw a gap, he went for it, and it just didn't work out as he intended.
No, I can't. So Stuart
and that
Wyness
is obviously the mitigating circumstance is just because of the closing speed. It's not. Yeah.
So Stuart Wyness, Tom Heritage, Cooper Straight. Some great liveries in here as well, by the way. We can reverse process Sammy as well. Yes, we can, as per the rules. All right. So what is this? Just Cooper Straight. Oh, this was an epic move. This was okay. So I believe
this is going to be tricky.
Okay, so he's obviously that's not really it. So he has. I think he has. Okay, so it's looked like he has protested the right person because it looks like it is Tom that causes the incident. So 3 wide coming around Cooper Straight. Great bit of racing between the 3, and then Right, so there's no mitigating here because this is
it's a penalty all day long.
100%. So if you look at here, the 3 cars in front are battling out. There is no opportunity to make the passing move on the left-hand side here, and then it causes obviously 2 cars to go off.
And that one in the back actually flips on its roof, I believe, as well. If I remember rightly from the stream.
Kim on it.
Yeah.
That's Andy on it.
Yeah, Andy.
What? No, that'd be another one. Oh.
But it's basically borderline race ending, because if you're facing the wrong way, I mean, yeah, it's level 2.
Yeah, so it's just taking that pair. There wasn't really the opportunity with 3 cars wide, and yeah, it caused that chain reaction. So yeah, I think so. So it's in the back of the car. So we always say it's the car that in the background is the one that is the responsibility to make sure that he doesn't go into the back of the car, and you'll probably get to know that. If it's a complete rear end like that one all day long, it'll be 100% level 2 penalty. Very few mitigating from hitting into the sort of back of them on that. Okay, next one, Yves Frederick on Paul Joseph Cliss. These two are having a ding dong with each other, aren't they? I tell you.
A ding dong.
A ding dong, ding dong. Right. Okay. Which race is this? Race 2. Yeah, race 2 kicked off. Race 3, yeah, a couple. Turn 12. Wait a minute. I think this is the incident from Paul Joseph Clist earlier on. So, lap 12. Both of them have got the lap wrong. Right, I'm just going to have a look at this, see if it is, because, here you go. It is, guys, it's actually lap 13. It's not lap 12. So you were both a lap out, so it's going to be nil and void, but I think this was a great battle. But we'll watch it coming back out of the last corner. Let's watch it. Let's enjoy it. So I think the initial contact is this one, which I think it actually puts, if we go on board with these, we can see. There's a hit, comes back and sort of spins a card. Let's have a look from Paul.
He hits into Paul, but then Paul doesn't leave him very much room. It's
I don't think it is. I think Paul is the other way. We'll have a look here. This should give us a good sort of squeezing him, and then it's almost like a coming together. And then I think Yves is car's out of control a bit. So if we slow it down, so Paul's squeezing him on the initial bump? Yeah. So from here, the bump, Yves goes out, tries to turn it into the corner, and then loses the back end of the car, and it comes around. You can sort of see how quickly that car comes across, and then it's that contact, I think. But it's amazing how much damage these cars can take, actually, isn't it?
Yeah, they're pretty tough little cars, yeah.
So,
yeah, definitely. But yeah, just what Tom Savage said here on the chat, he said PJC is miles off the racing line. Well, let's have a little look here.
There's no penalty because both of the drivers got the wrong lap. It's actually lap 13, not 12. So as per the rules, it's got to be the right lap, which is not. We're just reviewing it for it's just, I think it's just a racing incident that Paul's pushing him out wide, hits into the corner, comes out wide, tries to turn into the corner, and then they make contact. They almost hit right at the corner when they're turning in.
Yeah.
I mean, if I was probably reviewing this, I'd say it's a 50-50. I think they're both to blame there, to be fair. So, if we look at it, we're going across. Paul's obviously pushing Eves out, so doesn't see the contact. Then it comes out, and then Eves is coming across to go to the race line. You can see that black line, and then they make contact again. And I think they both fare the same amount of contact. I think Eves probably a little bit more. Well, let's see what happens to Paul here. Does he manages to keep on? I think Eves is the one that obviously comes off worse, but I think.
Yeah, it's just,
It's hard racing, which is what these cars are designed to do.
Yeah,
I think.
my verdict of it is that the door banging was okay, but PJC left him enough room, but not really enough room. It's incredibly marginal.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a hard one to call really, because there is still room for him to be on the outside right there even, and he turns in on the inside of the racing line.
Yeah.
Is there a level 1 against both cars?
Yeah.
If that was something we could do, this would be the perfect example. Yes, racing instance, bit of...
Yeah, 100%. Because I think Paul could be going down the inside more. Eves could have been going out a little bit more, and they almost like arrowheaded and met in the thingy. 2.5 for each bounce, yeah, Sammy. But both of them got the lap wrong, so it is no further action. But yeah, it would have been, I think, a 50-50 call on that one between the two. Both were sort of to blame, I would say. Next one.
Agreed.
Tom Heritage with Stuart Winnes. Tom. Where are you, Tom? There you are. Lap 14, race number 2. He rejoins dangerously, intentionally into the side of my car, causing me to spin out. Lap 14. Let's watch it then. So this is the review of that other one, isn't it?
Yeah, but what he's talking about is this.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, the orange car on the grass. You need to go on board with the...
Yeah.
Need to see what his steering wheel's doing.
Can I move back? Let's have a look. In fact, roll bar. Oh, look at this great view.
Yeah. Oh,
view.
perfect.
So this is the incident we reviewed earlier on as well. The problem with these is probably I can't remember what they're like on the grass, for losing grip and that, and just can we play it normal? See the brake lights.
There's absolutely nothing in it. He doesn't turn into him. It's just a sheer fact that the car's sliding around on the grass.
I think so. I think so as well.
Go back to the go back to the gyro, mate.
Just having a look.
Yeah, one more time. So if you watch the steering wheel, so he's counteracting, he's had contact there.
Trying to go back
it, trying to straighten it. Yeah, it doesn't. At no point does he hard right turn it to try and make contact. In my opinion, I don't see any. It's not intentional wrecking, and at this point he's just had contact with the barrier, so you don't know what kind of steering damage you may have.
No.
So he's hit that front right corner quite hard. He's trying to save it, it's nothing in it. I don't believe that's malicious, not one bit.
No, I don't think that. I mean, I think it's obviously trying to recover from obviously finding himself in a hot battle here, a really good battle, and then all of a sudden finding the wall. Trying to turn. Let's see.
Yeah, you can see the cars bouncing around and sliding around, and yeah,
it's almost like the other one. I mean, obviously with a little bit more thing between Thomas and Tom, I think he's just got nowhere to go. I think he can't steer too left because obviously the corner, which is a tight corner, is coming up. If he doesn't try to save it, he's just going to go across the track anyway, isn't he?
I think it's a racing incident.
I think it is. It was all initially I think it was initially caused by obviously the rear end shunt, which caused that cascading effect down the field, and then basically hits the wall, comes off the wall, tries to save it. I mean, the only thing you could say is maybe could Stewart have put his foot on the brake to stop the car? Would it have stopped? Would it have caused Mars? It's all the what ifs, isn't it? I think at the end of the day. So
I don't think it was malicious, and I think
100%.
that
I don't think it was a bad.
Yeah. And I think if we had seen his steering wheel turn in aggressively, then it would be a big penalty. But it's the sheer fact that, and also the closing speed as well between Tom Heritage and Stewart. So Tom Heritage has actually hit the barrier here. He's still going quite quick. Yeah, I don't think there's anything in it, to be honest.
No, I think and it's hard to say. It's easy to say. It's easy to say what you could do when looking at this at slow-mo. Maybe Tom could have gone out a little bit wider, knowing that Stewart was on his inside. Because if we look here, if we go on board with Tom, actually.
Well, the thing is, at first glance, it looked intentional.
Yes.
But once you go on gyro and clarify that it's not, then that changes everything, really.
Yeah, it's just the fact that hard racing. It was a great battle, this one, by the way. Did enjoy that one. The free car wide coming down here, because
also that weaving right there is actually kind of like allowed. He still gives the other car space. He doesn't actually cut the other car off completely, and he's not weaving in a braking zone. So if it was in the braking zone and he was weaving like that, then Stewart would be receiving a penalty.
So just having a look on board with Tom.
Yeah. You got to remember as well, if these guys are on single monitor, that will also make it incredibly difficult.
I don't think there's any malice. I agree with you there. I think if Stewart had turned in on him, then that's a different story. But you can see he's trying to turn left, then he's obviously trying to straighten his wheel to try and hit that inside of the corner, and unfortunately himself and Tom meet on the corner, and causes a spin, I think. So yeah, I'd go with a racing incident on that one.
Yeah, agreed.
So yeah, well, we've seen something new that we don't see every day, and that's Mr. Wangan getting it completely wrong in a brand new car. So fair play to him, but still managed to win all three races. It was great. So if you want to watch the second round, then join us join us tomorrow night for 8 o'clock for 3 20-minute races around Donington. It's going to be good. But considering we had 3 20-minute races, mate, to have 9 protests put in for that, pretty damn good. There was a lot of door banging, but these cars are made for door banging, like the Mazdas, isn't they? Really?
Yeah, I think what we saw on track is pretty much what you would see in a Clio Cup anyway. I mean, Jesus Christ, watch the real world Mazdas. I mean, holy hell! I was watching a Donington race with the Mazdas the other day, and yeah, a bit on the insane side. So we get to see how fast Andy's PC is now. See how quick it is. See how fast it loads things up.
Well, I'm streaming and everything, so may not be there.
The excuses, all the excuses.
There we go. Go in there.
That's going pretty quick.
Yeah. But we only got 2 actually. So again, I think it was mainly one for self spins. I think trying to think of the spins that we had. We had obviously James Logston. It was round turn 1, and we had a really strange one round turn number 15. I think that was James's spin around turn 15th, which is the second, just the one before the Sud curve. And then we had I'm trying to think. I know we had Russ Fowler at turn number 1. I'm trying to think who the other driver was that we did see have a spin around turn 1.
I was just going to say, actually, looking at the chat, Alex Patrizio is saying that the real life Clios at Monza were brilliant to watch. A bit of carnage. Can you please, if you're able to, please direct message me the YouTube link, because I would love to watch it. So I love catching up on the racing in the evenings. So.
I think they're. Yeah, there was one. I'm pretty sure it was James that was one that turned 15. No, it wasn't. It wasn't turned. Where did James? Just trying to think now. Was he a victim of turn 1? Somebody spun at turn 15th, was round the wrong way and lost loads of positions. Oh, who was it? It was always the second in the Pro-Ams seemed to be that devil position that spun. No, there was one around Filthy Animal. There was one around turn 15th. I'm just to do obviously the shameless plug that we always try to do every once in a while. Please make sure you guys like, and if you haven't already, think about subscribing to the channel. So we're getting up towards 500 subs, and we're gonna have to put on some sort of like special live streamed, get loads of people in on the chat event and put something on when we hit 500 subs. So if you haven't already, please sub to the channel, and you'll be able to watch Clios tomorrow, and yeah, get all the notifications that you'll ever need for all of the spicy racing. I'm sure, Jim. Like, what lap was it? It was. Go to the race. You can see the one that was I'm sure it was the first couple of laps. I think it was the second lap, if I remember rightly. What's the sound gone off again? Stupid sound. Good old iRacing, isn't it? Yeah, keeps disconnecting. Strange. Oh, there you go. Was that James's spin? Yeah, so James's spin is, there you go. So James was turn number 1. And this was a really weird one, I think, where you see a lot of the drivers was spinning. He went straight into it.
Yeah. He went off the curb.
Did he hit that inside? I think he did, didn't he?
See the grass there? Look, he goes off the curb, rear end floats, turns in, back end flies out. Watch his rear left wheel. Goes just over the curb and just nips the grass right there. Yeah. Floating, spins.
It's fine margins, wasn't it? It's
like me at Suzuka. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Suzuka GT3 season 1.
Yep.
Was that one?
But he done really good recovery. I'm trying to think the other one was Russ. I know Russ Fowler. Sorry, we're just obviously picking out the instance here before we have a look at the penalties, which that was later on.
Check my PMs. Okay, let's check my PMs.
There we go. Was it this one, 18? Here we go. Yeah, here you go. There's another. And the problem is with spinning around that corner is Let's play. Is you're facing the wrong way, and because this field was so tight, and he was doing a fantastic job. I think he was in second place. He hit that curb at a rock, but then lost loads of. I mean, look at all the cars just streamed past him. That's how close the Pro-Am field. I want to know who it was that spun around turn number 15th. It was one of the top drivers. Can't remember. I will try and find it. But anyway, let's have a look at a couple of the penalties that we have. So we got Casper on Matt's guns from back end. Starts. Fails to follow starting procedure. Goes from 70k to 50k after safety car pits. So this... I got a feeling on this, but we'll see. We'll see.
Thank you, Alex. I appreciate that. Thank you for the DM there. I have called you a effing legend, so thank you for sending that to me. Okay, yeah, sorry about the penalties. I love Hockenheimring.
I don't think the drivers enjoyed it, to be honest, did they?
What? This track would have been amazing for the McLaren. McLaren would be so good here.
Right, I think what's happening here, and it's another one, a hard one, isn't it? Because he is at 75 kilometers an hour at the moment, but the gap's not 2 seconds, which was what was given. So he slows down here. You can see him slow down to 47, then gets to 50, even 50, and then goes. Does he cause any concertina effect?
Who is the front car here?
Matt, the one we just watched.
Oh, Matt is. Okay, okay.
Let's have a look back here. Yeah, a bit naughty.
It doesn't impact the pack.
It doesn't, but you can see
Not
it.
overly.
It doesn't overly, but it does impact it. You can see it there.
Yeah, yeah. It could have caused contact.
So one thing I will say there is, Matt, if you're that close to the car in front, bear in mind, obviously we give the drivers a 2 second. I think he's just trying to maintain the gap. Obviously the 2 second is there. And the reason why the 2 second was there to obviously turn 1 and turn 2 down to the hairpin is always the choke points on this. But if I look at the rear, this is the wrong way to do it. Because if you look, it's all nicely compact out and then stop. Look at that, the pack nearly gets in touch with each other. In fact, it's here, look, there. Look, everyone's just getting offline and bits and pieces. So I think. What did we say in the rule? This was a level 1, wasn't it?
Yep.
So I'm going to order a level 1 here. We've reviewed this before. Obviously, what we're trying to do is make sure that we don't have this concertina effect. We were close to causing a pile up there in the first corner, and I'll show you why I would say that. Nope. Go back. So if I come back here, so it's coming around the exit at the last corner is when Matt's, and you can see what happens to the field if I play it at normal speed. So it's quite nicely gapped out there. The 2 seconds is not there, so don't aggressively stop. You almost go from 70 down to 50 really quickly, which could have caused, I mean, it was slowing down here. If it's there, you go down to 50, and look how close the pack all gets in. This car here, I think that's Casper. I think Kim actually bumps into the back of the front car there. So it did cause a bit of an issue, and luckily the field was attuned to the fact. Now, if you had slowed down slightly and not as aggressive as there was to get that 2-second gap, or make sure you're at that 2-second gap, be a little bit more. It's 2 seconds, but you can be a little bit more. It's not explicit. It is, Tom, it is actually in the rules. We did have this, because if you remember, we had this issue in... I'm trying to think of it. It's not Fuji. Suzuka.
God, what round was
Suzuka.
Suzuka.
That we had this incident again, and we literally took everyone through on that one. And this is probably not as bad, but it could have been if the drivers weren't on the board to slow down. So yeah, I would say that's a level 1. So if you want to do that and you are at the front, and the gap is 2 seconds. If you're 2.5 and you're maintaining that 50, then that is completely fine. It's the 2 seconds is there to say, let's have 2 seconds at least, not like stupidly like 10 seconds behind. But if you're within 2 to 4 seconds, it's, you know, you're not going to get a penalty for going around slow. It's making sure that gap's there, but also the equal speed. If you're going at 70 and that gap's free, just keep it at 70. You went from 70 down to 49 really quickly, and then that's what can cause the issues at the back. And we saw there the last car hitting into the back. So that's why it's in the rules now to maintain a constant speed. We've gone through this twice now. So we had the first incident, which was at Suzuka, and then we also had it at Monza with Alte Rudd, wasn't it? But obviously he missed a gear in that occasion. But it's to try and make sure the starts are as clean as possible. So yeah, and obviously just a shout out to barring that from Mads. I mean, it was a cracking race from him from a point of view of where it was. But damn monitor fails, eh? Yeah, exactly, Tom. 2 seconds is, we're not going to split hairs if you're 2.8 seconds behind the leaders. It's there to keep the gap nice and zero. So yes, we did have it on Ruskogen as well. Ruskogen or whatever it is. So yeah. Okay, and the last one, Alte Rudd on Simeon. Is it Alt Rude? It's probably Alt Rude, isn't it? Let's say Alte Rude. And I know Simeon is not pronounced as Simeon, but I'm not saying how it is pronounced. Okay, lap 21. Goes off track in turn 12. And rejoins right in front of me, causing me to brake to avoid a crash. He continues to push too hard into the next corners and spins in turn 16. So it's lap 21. Well, so we go 22 and reverse it. Okay, so what? The initial is going off track. Turn 12. Oh, so that turn 12's the mobile one, isn't it? I think. Let's watch. These two had a quite good battle, actually, if I remember right.
Was there another protest against Lee?
There was, but it's been rescinded.
Right, okay.
That's synchronized spinning there. So the protest is coming out of the Mercedes corner through the next corner. That's where he's looking at. No, it's out into mobile one, I thought it was. So you're not quite close enough. For instance, it goes out wide, does go out wide, but comes back on track. Still not close enough, still not close enough, still not alongside, still not alongside. Simeon comes onto the inside. Still the room on the outside if you did probably go for it, but then the gap was there, so Simeon took the line. I think that's just really good racing between the two of them, in my eyes.
Yeah, I agree. Watch it full speed.
Yeah. I think Arte thinks he's probably going to shoot across the track, but he doesn't.
Yeah.
And then this is weird. This is the classic. I'm going to follow the car in front, whatever he does, and it's almost identical. Up, both of them like spinning around. That's good synchronized spinning, though. What happened here? Did why did you go in the pits? You could have gone back out on track. Following the track incident, I got a 40-second stop go for driving straight from the grass to the pit. Oh, right, okay. That sucks. Probably a good thing to know if you have a spin here, like I just said, is that he's gone around. You could have gone out there. You could have gone out as long as, I think it's as long as you're in between that line. Or the problem is you follow it around, so you had the opportunity to get on there. So the 40-second stop go is probably, it could have been avoided if it'd gone onto track in it. It's unfortunate because those two are having a good battle, but I think it's a racing incident on that one. Agreed?
Agreed.
Trying to think the other memorable moments of this one. Anybody got any they want to relive on the Hockenheim in the chat? Just to know it's old saying not unless they did a typo on their own name. ATLE. I'll have to check that because I'm pretty sure that. Have a look in the entry form to see if it is, because that's where we get the driver overlay form. So it might be wrong. It's about wrong from. Who knows? Any. Yeah. I think overall it was a great. It was probably a boring race from the drivers. A lot of the drivers I think were saying it was a bit boring because it wasn't one of them tracks where you could have made big decisions. So would have been my first. Need some full screen cat. I don't think is that a cat? Was that the cat, Tom, or was that the dog? You're on mute. I think you're on mute.
Yeah, sorry. I was just in case she was barking. No, it's a dog. Definitely a dog.
The little pooch. There we go. Yeah. Need some full screen cat. Alex, you need your animal recognition a little bit better, mate.
I've got a cat as well, so if the cat comes along, you'll know.
Yeah, big Persian thing or something, isn't it?
Yeah, Russian blue.
But yeah, that's all the protests done for the Clio Cup and the thing. If obviously because of the time frame, we get 24 hours to put the protest in. If you disagree with them, if you do put the protest in, then that will be taken into account in the Clio Cup. That you won't have to serve. Obviously, the penalty will be null and void until it's reviewed, and then it could be a possible penalty, whatever the penalty consequences from the outcome from the what should we call it? Independent verifiers will be coming in there. So
and the reason that there can be a bit of a time restraint on that is because a lot of the guys have a lot of real life racing, so it can take a bit of time for them to all get together and do the review. So I think we've had over 2 seasons, we've had 2 penalties that were a little bit long on being reviewed. So apart from that, they're done pretty darn quick, really, considering. So, but yeah, Andy explained it perfectly.
Okay, so there we go. There's our roundup of the pit stops. GT3's been extremely. I think it was one of them where it's more self-imposed spins than it was driver incidences. I think it may be. Hopefully, the Sunday one will be a lot better. I think that the GP circuit has got, you've got the turn number 1, you've got the infield section around the Mercedes arena sort of area, that's always helped. That turn number 3 or turn 2 where it opens out, that's a very tricky one. So I think there's good opportunity to make the passing, but it's going to be vital again. We've seen leads slip in these endurance rounds. We had James Logston as a prime example. Well and truly out lead in the GT3 Pro Am category, had a terrible round and then found himself on chaseback. So it's offsetting that balance between going aggressively to get their positions, but scoring a decent amount of positions to make sure that you get the extra added points for the endurance round. So it's going to be an interesting one on Sunday, mate, isn't it?
Yeah, it's Nords is one of those tracks that 9 times out of 10 people know. The GP layout it's much more fast paced, more aggressive, but there is some wicked passing opportunities for the GT3. So it's got a good mix of everything, really, hasn't it? It's got some tight, twisty stuff. It's got some fast stuff. It's got it's an ideal track really for an endurance round, and it really can put pay to good drivers just as easily as as most of the other tracks. So I imagine a lot of people are taking a sigh of relief that we're not going full hog for the big Nords track, because obviously it takes a lot of practice for some of the lower ranked drivers and things. But yeah, Nords GP is going to be it's going to be wild, mate. I can't wait. Looking forward to it.
But then before
Clio's
then,
first. Clio's.
But then before then, we got the Clios, haven't we? Donington Park tomorrow, 3 20-minute races.
I cannot wait, honestly. I love Donny so much. I love it.
It is great, and if anybody watching has seen the broadcast and obviously seen the protests that we've gone through and wants to get out on track, there's still places available. Come over to the Discord channel, which will be in the link below, or find us on our Facebook page. Come over to the Discord and we'll get you on the field. Super cheap round to get involved in, and great if you're brand new to things. And obviously that gives me probably a big shout out to Pops, Andy King McGee. Complete novice at iRacing, been watching the GT3 and spotting for his son, who's leading out the Pro-Am at Lee King McGee, and decided, I want to give it a go. So if you want to give it a go, join Andy on track. He's not the quickest of drivers, he'll admit that himself, but he'll get better, and certainly by the second season he'll be up there to speed. He's only about 2 seconds off the pace, so it's easy to get yourself over that hurdle and get you the experience. So if you want to, like I said, look in the link below, look at our Facebook page, come over to the Discord and join us. But obviously looking forward to that. Past that, what are we looking at for doing after we finish the GT3s? Because we're not going to come back for season 3 and probably until November time. So the summertime leave free for the guys, but we're having quite a few little mini series of 5 weeks, 4 or 5 weeks, and one of the ones hotly anticipated, I think, is the Super Trucks, baby.
Say the words.
Oh, I can't wait for that. Can't wait for that. It's just so much fun. If you don't know or understand it, go over to Apex Racing TV and have a look for the Super Truck series. It's going to be like that. It's just absolutely epic. And if you want the best racing that you'll ever have in your life on iRacing,
100%.
You can keep your hybrid BMW cars, get the Super Truck around Hockenheimring or or around Laguna Seca and get some air off the corkscrew in a super truck, then yeah, that's the way forward. But no, that's all to come. That's all to come, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we're going to keep the seasons coming, and give the drivers something new every time to have a go with. But obviously, the staple for us is obviously the GT3 Cup. That's not going anywhere. So that's our bread and butter. But we want to keep throwing in these extra bits of fun for everybody. And I mean, even just look at our mid-season event. It was such a great opportunity for all the drivers that didn't know anybody to just sort of have no choice other than to be thrown into different teams by the wheel of doom that we had on the pit stop. But yeah, no, it was awesome. The mid-season was cracking, and I can't wait for super trucks, mate. Let's bring it on.
It's going to be good. So we'll try to get out, and then we're going to get the Mazdas back on track as well in the Performance Link hot shaft of the Clios and the GR86. Have a look at getting that one out on track as well, and then obviously back with season 3 of the GT3s in the winter when everyone's locked indoors with nothing else to do. But yeah, that's it. On their tan. yeah, definitely. I don't think you can work on the tan when it's dark at like 3 o'clock in the evening and pissing down with rain. Like then it's not the best, is it? You want to be sweating in your rig in a race for 2 hours or something. That's where you want to be.
Yeah, agreed.
But no, that's the end of our broadcast, guys. Thank you very much for joining us. As Tom said, give us a thumbs up if you liked it. Think about subscribing, clicking the bell, and you'll get notified when we go live. We do these every week. We've got the Clio Cups tomorrow, and then we've got the GT3 Round 9 on Sunday. So a lot to look forward to here on the channel. And we really do appreciate all your support. Started off with very little. We're now getting up to, like Tom said, close to 500 subscribers. So really appreciate everybody for their support and continued support, as well as the drivers as well, because without you we won't be able to make the series. So a big thank you for supporting us here at Performance Link, and long may you stay with us at the end of the day. But from this podcast and until tomorrow night, when hopefully Tom won't be doing something that he shouldn't be doing and is able to join me and not leaving it down to me.
I'll be here, Kay. I'll be here.
You can't leave it, mate. You can't leave it down. I've got to get.
No, I won't. I won't miss Clio's at Donny. No, I will quit my job if I have to make to my wife. But yeah, I'll quit my job to be here for the Clios.
Brilliant. So until tomorrow night, guys, take care, be safe, and see you at Donington Parks for the round 2 of the Clio Cup. Good night.
See ya.